This your boy, Mr. G, and I'm getting beeped at because of the guy in front of me. But it ain't my fault, fool. You better recognize. And, oh, pothole. Holy moly. Woo! And welcome back. Hopefully my new mic is doing its thing. If it's not, I'll be refilming this stuff. How you doing? Are you riding? Are you not riding? If you're not riding, why? You should be riding, especially if you're in South Jersey today. Going up to 55. So, we'll talk about my pops a little more. Maybe I can end this series with actually having him on my channel, but I don't know about that. And got out and this mirror was all messed up. Had to tighten it. I tightened it by hand, so probably want to take a wrench to that. Are you trying to get away from me in your Honda? You better recognize. So so my pops and his car. I have the same theory, and I thought I was like some kind of genius when I first thought of it way back in whenever. That, it's not about where you're going, it's about how you're getting there. And that's why I got the vet. If I got to go to work every morning, got to drive home every afternoon, I want to enjoy it. And I thought, I'm not having a midlife crisis. I'm just some kind of genius. And then, looking at it now, I realize, oh no, I totally got that from growing up with the father that I grew up with. His deal was to have a Lincoln Continental and always have the newest, latest Lincoln. So he would always have these dark colored, dark greens, whatever the new thing was, Lincoln Continental. And about every 2 years, sometimes 3, sometimes 1, he would trade it in and get the latest one. He wanted all the gadgets, and it makes sense if you're bouncing around in an old Peterbilt for a living, and you're rocking around on the ocean on Sunday, on the way back and forth to these things, to have a real soft, cushy suspension underneath you with this super soft leather seat that adjusts all these different ways, it makes sense. And he also, had back problems and stuff, so it made sense. Eventually he started switching to the Mach 5, and he got a couple white ones, I remember. They were a little smaller, a little classier looking. I like the big one myself. It was more, when I think of Lincoln Continental, I just immediately think of my dad. I don't really think of him when I think of the Mach 5. And then, and then one day, out of clear blue sky, and this was in the 90s when the Camaro when the Camaro and the Mustang hit their ugly streaks, particularly the Camaro. I mean, they discontinued it. It was such a failure. My dad comes home with his new car, and he's got a Camaro in the driveway. So I guess the midlife crisis thing, it's a real thing, and since I did the same exact thing, except for the Chevy I picked was a Corvette. And I remember this, I'm colorblind, but I remember it being an orange and red Camaro. It was at the end of the driveway, and we're thinking, this is so cool that Dad got this car, and instead of keeping it in the driveway, he's keeping it at the end of the driveway so that we could get our roller skates on and jump the curb and jump over the hood of the car. Like, Dad's a genius. Thanks, Dad. When in all actuality, he was keeping it at the end of the driveway to keep us away from touching it, and, did not make the assumption that we were so stupid that we would put on roller skates and try to jump over his brand new car. Now, we really could only jump the front corner of it anyway, because the curb just wasn't a good enough ramp. But there was some whoopings that needed to be dished out after that, genius idea that we had. I don't know which one of us thought of it, but I could tell you when I saw them doing it, I thought, like, somebody here is Einstein. That's genius. And I went and got my skates on and started jumping too, and the whoopings got handed out, fools. So that is my next road to freedom. My story, talking about my pops. I'm gonna do two more on my pops. I think the next one's going to be about my dad and his ride-on lawnmower, because that just was some silly nonsense. So please like, share, and subscribe. Your dad had a sports car, midlife crisis, drove around in luxury sedans. You got something common with this? You grew up in the 70s and 80s? Hit me up, man. Hit me up in the comment section. Let's talk. Let's reach out. This your boy, Mr. G. And before this guy gets a ticket, I'm out. I'm going to run the light because she can't see. Peace.